studio in New York City, Cheesehead TV brings you two guys who like to think they know something about football.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to Packer Transplants Live. I am Aaron Nagler, and I am joined, as always, by Mr. Corey Banky, my partner here at Cheesehead TV. We are coming to you live from the LiveX studios in Midtown Manhattan, and we are ready to talk some Packers. So, Corey, why don't you tell us what is on tap today?
Today, we're going to try to figure out what the hell went wrong in Detroit and get ready for Monday Night Football with the Niners. But right now, it's time for the good, the bad, and the ugly. We got the good. We got
Davante Adams.
We got the bad. We got
Aaron Charles Rodgers.
We got the ugly. We got
Mason Crosby. I like how I said that. Like, Moisey, doinky doink.
Mason, I can't believe I haven't been fired yet, Crosby.
Not going to be fired. He was 10 of 11 coming into that game. And that
Whatever.
one miss was that really long one that he tried against the Vikings.
Whatever, he should be fired.
Okay, but let's just not talk about ugly stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
No bad stuff.
Wait. There's someone special here today.
There is indeed. Which is why I don't want to talk about the ugly.
Someone in the studio.
I don't want to talk about the bad. No, we enough of this Skype nonsense. We brought someone in.
Who do we bring?
Grossi Posse Packers!
Snap.
Tom Grossi.
Tom Grossi, YouTube celebrity.
YouTube sensation.
Hey.
Packer blogger, vlogger,
Hey.
YouTuber extraordinaire.
Wow, I got this out of the sink. I hope that's okay. I got that. And thank you guys so much for having me.
How
Wow.
the hell are you?
I am wonderful.
Yeah?
I am stupendous. These are adjectives that I didn't use after the game on Sunday. No, not at all.
We're gonna wait. Before let's not dive
We
into
won't get
the-
depressed just yet.
Just yet.
Not yet.
But welcome.
Thank you. This is bigger than my house. Just this room. Just this room is
Just
bigger
this
than
room?
my house. Yeah.
That's very common to the tri-state area. The
Yeah, I live in a box.
real estate being
It's,
what it is. But thank you so much for making the trip here.
Absolutely.
Joining us in studio.
It only cost me $16,000 to park, and I have to say, it was well worth it to get this glass.
There you go. See, we're all good. All right. So as we always do, we got to start with some Packers news.
Yes.
Packers news. There's no news because Mike McCarthy didn't have them practicing today, and there was no media availability. So all the stuff we usually talk about on Wednesdays is being pushed off till Thursday because of Monday Night Football. So that's kind of annoying. So there was no practice today. What do we think? Now, obviously, you're coming off a game where you lost. You look bad doing it, blah, blah, blah. I know there's some traditionalists who will say, well, they should be practicing regardless. And Mike is very much of the, we got to let their bodies rest and recover.
Yeah.
Where do you guys fall on that
Well,
timeline?
I think the relaxation is super important because Aaron Rodgers was able to see the Avid brothers last night. And I feel like
saw that on his
hopefully that is going
right.
to kind of lift his spirits a little bit and teach him how to throw again. That would be great. That would be wonderful.
Wow.
Grossi coming out with the heat.
Listen,
So
early.
wait, do you think Mason Crosby should have been fired?
No, I don't. I see because
I hate you now.
I know, but so a few years ago, did you think he should have been fired?
Yes.
What you mean in 2012 when he was struggling and they
Yes.
stuck with him and then he became
like
the
one
most
of the-
awesome kicker in the history of awesome?
He is still not the most awesome kicker in the
He's
history
pretty,
of awesome.
pretty good. Come on.
He is pretty
Okay,
good.
Mister, we should draft. We should. You're glad we drafted a punter.
Well, after watching him punt,
J.K. Scott, amazing.
Lord,
He is like 15 years old and
Yeah.
he's living his dream. So don't stomp on that.
Mason Crosby has never been a top 3 kicker.
I don't know what.
He's been a top 5 kicker.
Why?
He's never been a top
He's
3 kicker.
really good.
He's pretty good.
He's not. We could have actually won the game. And guess who
Wait,
lost the
guess
game
what?
for us?
Aaron Rodgers and Mason
No,
Crosby?
Mason Crosby.
all right.
following here?
All right.
It's
So
a different game.
All right.
If he
We're already
makes
off
you-
the script. I don't care. Come on,
it's
give it to us.
just garbage.
Yeah,
All right.
exactly.
Well, here's the thing. While Mason Crosby had the worst game of his life, right? Like he went home,
Right? Like
and-
ever.
Like,
Ever.
and that was a solid weeping session that he had afterwards. I can't put the entire fault on him because like our offense didn't produce. We just didn't play well at all. I don't put any of it on our defense
Nope.
because our defense it let up a
with
ton
that.
of points in the first half, but we gave up the ball 3 times and like they had a very short field to go. So
They were put in some bad spots.
but I think Rodgers missed a ton of plays. His throws didn't look really that great. And I think you also have receivers who also can't get separation. Now, sometimes they did. Sometimes they did.
sometimes.
They did sometimes. But overall, I think the offense is not gelling well together. I don't know if that's because of lack of practice.
But I was so up, that brings us right back, and now we're back on script.
Oh,
but
Listen,
so shouldn't they be
NATO.
practicing today? I mean,
No,
don't
you
think?
do the routine.
I heard the Avid brothers are really good. Like, I heard they're just monumental
I mean,
to see live.
you do the routine. That's what you
Right,
got to do.
right. So
This
you
is the
push-
NFL. This
right.
is a pro league.
Yep.
You do the routine.
I feel that. So
You do what
push-
you do.
You push it off a day and you make it sync up with your
Yeah.
regular work week.
Yeah, I don't change. When my staff
Here
messes
we go.
up,
Here we go.
we don't change the program. The process is the process. The result. You
I'll do a
don't.
show
You
out of my
don't change your journy because of the result, right?
I hear you.
Do
Wow,
you?
that was deep. That was like out of a fortune cookie.
Do
that
you?
Was,
Well, it depends on how bad.
I mean, our
badly
journey's pretty
screw up.
terrible right now, but I mean, we are still. Listen, I think we're a lot of doom and gloom right now.
Yeah,
the
of
entire fan
course.
base, the entire
Yeah,
fan
that's-
base. We
yeah.
are. We're the
That's-
second in the NFC North. I mean, like, let's be honest, and it's the Bears. It's the Bears.
Yeah. They're gonna fall apart.
I have to say that because if they don't fall apart, my life is gonna fall apart.
Yeah.
So like, I have to just keep on projecting those insecurities.
my
that they're
favorite
gonna,
is like, because like the Bears still suck is a thing.
Sure.
And of course, because they suck, because they're the
Absolutely.
Bears. Like this is, this is logic.
Yes.
And I keep having people ask me because the Bears win or whatever, and then the Packers lost and the Bears didn't play last Sunday. So it's like, oh, Aaron, did the Bears still suck? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they still suck.
That's never going to not be a thing. by the way.
exactly.
There's a song.
they suck in perpetuity.
Exactly.
Perpetuity.
Precisely.
Yes.
All right, back to news. God, we're gonna drive through this script.
See,
whether
now
it
you have
kills me or
Tom,
not.
so he's going to get you.
I-
I'm pulling you off. He's going to
It's
pull
all-
you off.
I gotta really drive through this. All right. So the one little tiny morsel of news that we can glean from Mike McCarthy on Monday is that Jair Alexander has a chance to play
Yes.
Monday night against the 49ers because there's an extra day. But hey, groin injuries, you don't want to mess with them. We've seen them jump up on guys before and become a real problem throughout a season. So I'm fine the week before the bye week if they sit him down again. That's just me.
Slow down, Nagler.
I'm just saying.
Okay, we need the rookie on the field,
I know he's
Okay.
really good. You know what? Here's my thing. Like, can we have him returning punts?
please.
Anybody? You mean not Tremont Williams? Why not? Did you see how many yards he got on Sunday? It was incredible.
Okay.
Okay.
He was like the
Okay.
fastest man
You're touching the third
Okay.
rail now. Here. That's Corey's boy.
Okay.
No, I like Tremont Williams.
Tremont
Don't get me-
Williams.
Tremont
don't-
Williams.
Don't get me wrong. I
has
like
no
Tremont
business
Williams.
returning
He should
punts
not
in
be
2018.
returning
There's a
punts. He's
reason.
like 67 years
Trust
old.
his hands. And even then, he should
Sure.
have come up and gotten that
Yeah,
fucking ball
that was
that ended up
ridiculous.
not touching Kevin King, but touching Kevin King.
Okay.
According to the NFL.
Kevin King, though, by the way, real quick, he did not look great on Sunday either. Is that a lingering injury kind
Well,
of thing?
I think it's a little rust coming off, a couple weeks off, and then he gets out there, and it sure looked. Now you can't say for sure because you're not privy to the play calls,
Sure.
but it sure looked on the touchdowns that he gave up that he was expecting help to the inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both they shared a common theme.
Yeah.
So
Okay, I gotta
not gonna
respond.
kill him
I
for
gotta
it.
respond to the chat. I don't normally do
Oh,
this.
here we go, here
but
we go.
have Tom in the house. So
Oh, boy.
amazing how quickly these so-called Packer fans abandon their team. Brewers, anyone? Okay. I'm gonna ban you for saying the Brewers in our feed because I don't even know who the Brewers are, first of all. This is a Packers show,
you lie?
okay?
why you
So
lying?
slow down.
Lying.
Did the Brewers lose yet?
I don't know.
I don't know because they're not going to be here in.
They're playing
They're not going to
Friday.
be here in.
They're playing Friday.
They're not
They
going to
start
be
the
here
NLCS
in
on Friday
January
against the
when the
Dodgers.
Packers are here.
That's right,
okay?
because the season will be over.
Too
Okay.
cold.
If you look at the history of this show,
Right.
in week 5,
Right.
what are we typically doing?
Talking about the Packers.
Pulling everyone off of the ledge.
Right.
Because that's typically what happens in week
true.
5.
Yep.
There's a couple years where it's golden.
It's going okay.
Yeah, it's going
It's
great.
great.
But usually,
Usually,
Nah.
we're pulling people off the ledge. So
Right.
we still need to be doing that. It's not gloom and doom. I have no gloom and doom. 2-2-1.
okay, we were asked this on Facebook prior to the show. And I told the young man, watch the show, and we will answer that question. So in the spirit of wanting to be interactive and answer the questions of the people,
Community.
community, it's all about the Packers community. Do we think the Packers are going to turn it around?
Yes.
Yes.
See, there you go. Question answered. All right, now back to the fucking script. This is fun. Josh Jones making little waves, little headlines, little something. Josh Jones not happy. Not Jonesing for the bench. Wants to be on the field. We got a little clip. This is from the Gannett production of Clubhouse Live every
Which
Monday night.
I don't
at the Paper
understand.
Valley.
Why do more Packer fans not watch that show?
I don't know. We'll find out. Maybe this transfixing video will change their mind. So roll it,
Get
Gaff,
on
when
the
you
field
get.
a little bit. You're finally easing into it. I guess assess. You want more, don't you? Just
Come
tell
on
the
now.
world you want more.
I mean, that's what I'm here for. I mean, you ain't gonna take a player in the second round to not contribute to the team. I mean, am I right or am I wrong? You know, so I mean, if that's the case, you know what I'm saying, you just I don't know, you know what I'm saying. I don't like, you know what I'm saying. Some guys play this. Everybody play this game for different reasons. You know, some guys play this game because of what comes with it, what they can get out of it. Some guys they enjoy just getting the check every 2 weeks. You know, they're okay with just being mediocre and not improving and just being one of the guys on the team. And you know, me, I want to work for what I get. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to just get a check and feel like I didn't do nothing for it. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you know that you can be out there. You know what I'm saying? You know you can contribute to the team. You know that's what hurts the most. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's tough, man.
So, you know, I don't think you can, you don't have to read between any lines there.
I'm surprised he didn't get fined for that.
Well, the Packers aren't going to fine him. The NFL, he didn't say anything.
You don't think
derogatory
coach would
about the
fine him
NFL.
for that?
Doubt it. Mike's pretty good about that kind
I
of
would.
stuff.
If I was the
You
coach, I
would,
would.
yeah, you would. You're a tyrant. You got to ask all these people out there. They know.
And cut Crosby.
And you
Both
cut
things actually
Crosby and
cut
like,
Crosby
Well, I wouldn't cut Crosby until you have someone.
like Aguayo.
yeah, like, terrible. That'd be a great idea. But so Josh Jones, what do we think? Like, I mean, this kid, he's got a point. You expect a little return on your second round investment from a year ago, but he played 4 snaps, I think, from scrimmage on Sunday.
I mean, I can't argue with him, right? Like, I that's one of the main things that I see constantly in comics week after week is where is Josh Jones? Because he had a promising year last year. He looked great. He looked
good early.
He looked like he had a lot of potential.
He looked lost later in the season.
And
but
then-
yes, you saw the potential.
And then it's kind of just dropped off. So I think the question is not, kind of should he play or shouldn't he play, is why isn't he given more opportunities?
Especially in a week where you saw Jermaine Whitehead inactive due to injury.
Yeah.
You would have thought Josh Jones steps in.
It's my moment.
But it didn't help that literally the first, kick of the game that they are fielding, and he has a penalty.
Yeah.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
which is all he did last year was, have stupid penalty on a great kick return that would have put them in great field position.
Yeah.
And then they're being brought back because Josh Jones can't
Yeah.
get his hands inside. So I don't know. Josh Jones, not happy.
I have nothing to say about Josh Jones because literally, what is there to say? I'm whining because I'm not playing enough, and I'm not playing enough because I keep messing up. I'm sorry, Josh Jones.
Fair.
Maybe don't mess up.
This is the kind of insight
that's-
and analysis
that-
you came here
Suck
for.
on that, ESPN. Suck on that.
Well, we're competing with the NFL now because now we have 3 old white guys. Well,
Yep.
you're young. You're young.
Young
But,
man here.
And NFL Network has 4, so we
They have
gotta
4.
we gotta
We're coming.
step up our
We're
game.
coming for you.
We're on our way. All right, so let's get to the offense. Let's get to I think I would categorize this as the source. You were talking about doom and gloom around the fandom.
Yeah.
This is the source right here. This is it. The offense has carried this team year after year after year. And when they do kind of bog down, look herky-jerky, call it whatever you want, people freak out.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any doubt here that there are a lot of elements in play. Number one, I think before anything else, and I think he would say this, and he actually did say this after the game, Aaron Rodgers needs to play better. Point blank. Point blank. He can't come out and play like he has these last 2 weeks, but especially in Detroit, and expect this team to be competitive.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers, since he's been a starter, has made this team look a lot better than they actually are. And I'm saying that as a diehard Packers fan.
That's
and
true.
that they've never really had the defense to back them up. You obviously had the Super Bowl year where the turnovers were huge. 2014, they were a bit better on defense, but they've been in the back half of the league on defense for years. And so
Number 4 in the league currently.
yeah, they are.
In yardage.
Yes, in yardage. But like
18th.
even like you look at the 15-1 season, that's all Aaron Rodgers, like just
100%.
all the time.
Aaron Rodgers did that with Marshall Newhouse at left tackle, by the
Yeah.
way. I think people forget that.
Yeah.
Like Marshall Newhouse started 9 games at left tackle that year.
Yeah.
But he didn't have a gimpy knee.
No, but he was still under siege
Yeah.
basically
No, I
every
agree.
play. Knows he can't wait 2 seconds before
Yeah.
there's going to be somebody in his lap, and he was still throwing for Star Wars numbers.
Correct.
Crazy.
So that being said, I mean, yeah, at some point you have to put a team around him because we're blaming Rodgers right now, and he does need to play better, 150%. But at the same time, they should also be able to get it done without Aaron Rodgers
Being
kind of
all
putting
world.
it on his shoulders
And
and being like,
I
here
agree
we
with
go, let's trudge forward.
I totally agree with that sentiment. However, when you have a team that is completely built around one guy,
Yes.
that guy has to be the guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like that, literally, the whole philosophy of this organization is
Yes.
we are Aaron Rodgers. I mean, they
Yeah.
proved that by giving him
They
the
doubled
monster
down, yeah.
contract.
Yeah.
You know, the offense is designed around him. The defense is there for this offense to produce a lead and then get after the opposing quarterback, as we saw against
Yeah.
Buffalo. That is the whole way this team is constructed. And the idea of like he's got to put a team around him. I mean, they went out and got Jimmy Graham. They got Devontae Adams, who's one of the better wide receivers in the league.
Yeah.
They've got a really talented backfield. It's not like they're bereft of talent.
Yeah.
But that like leads to another point because like talking about like Aaron Jones, right, and the fact that he's like averaging what like 6 yards a carry,
6.3 coming in last week.
Yeah, so he's doing it, and he got like barely any touches. I can understand why he didn't get touches though, because we were down 20 plus points,
Yep.
very very
We'll
early.
get there. It's in the script.
Yeah.
Wait.
Okay. It's in there. We won't get there right now. But yes, so they have a running game.
Right.
But again, if it's all about Aaron Rodgers and he's not producing, then we're screwed. Like when he goes down last year, every single Packer fans I know, just you throw your hands up and you're like, that's it.
I didn't throw my hands
I
up.
didn't believe in Brett Hundley that I wanted to believe, but
I believed, and you know what? I wish Jordy Nelson would have believed and actually caught some balls.
Shots fired.
You know, I
Jordy!
believed. I wish half the people on our team would have believed. I mean,
Yeah.
the kid wasn't terrible. He was terrible, but there were a lot of
But you talk about
the
needing a
team gave
around
up.
you.
Yeah,
Exactly.
A lot of
Yeah, no,
people,
he
a
had no
lot of
support.
people shut it down.
Here is the paradox of Aaron Rodgers. Everyone wants to blame Mike McCarthy for play calling.
yes.
Mike McCarthy doesn't actually call the plays. Aaron Rodgers calls the plays. I really think,
50-50.
who knows though?
Right.
The only two people, well, three people probably, are Joe Philbin, Mike McCarthy,
And Aaron
and Aaron Rodgers.
On game day.
On game day, right? Mike McCarthy could have said, I'm going to run Aaron Jones all the time. And Aaron Rodgers could literally decide that the game plan as he sees on the field in front of him is like, no, I'm not going to do that, right?
Yeah.
So we don't really know.
Well, most of the time he has options, not always. But again, that comes back to what I was saying before. It's built
Exactly.
around Aaron.
now, but my
He's
thing
given
about
more
this scheme
freedom
is,
than almost any other quarterback.
where is Jimmy Graham?
Yeah.
Where is Mercedes Lewis?
Yeah.
But
Where are these
Another-
people? Why
another-
are we not hot reading to Devontae? We don't even try. This offense used to be a machine, a Ferrari, right? It was like, and where's the dinking and dunking? How many times in this show in week 5 we're talking about dinking and dunking?
Right.
Like, hey, I know it's not Madden, okay? I know it's not Madden, and I suck at Madden. By the way, we're gonna do
this is true.
with Tom. We didn't tell you this yet, but we're gonna do a Madden show Friday night.
yes.
So check it out.
Nagler's actually gonna play on this
play Madden
screen.
on
Can
this
you imagine playing Madden on this screen? So we might have to have you to
Phenomenal.
come play with us.
Yes.
One show 1 week.
I'll just
But
sleep
Once we got it up and running.
you know, I know it's not Madden, but it's like, is it really that hard to be like, on this play, I'm going to Devontae. On this play, I'm going to try to go to Jimmy Graham. And I don't see that. I did not see that last week.
Well, all right. So Jimmy Graham got 6 or 8 targets, something like
Something like
that.
that.
On
70
Sunday.
some yards.
Yeah, it's something like that. But there's also a fundamental issue with Aaron Rodgers of holding onto the ball too long.
Oh, yeah,
Because we make the argument of like, receivers not getting open, but you can see that there's receivers open on some plays. But he also holds onto that ball for dear life, which could be the greatest thing in the world because like he makes phenomenal plays off like his back foot jumping and doing a backflip. Or he takes a sack, or he fumbles the ball, or it's a crap play. And so that being said, do you think that this team is do you think McCarthy is like a little scared to be like, hey, bud, so we just paid you $1 kajillion. Maybe,
that's
don't
the
take
thing.
the whole game into your entire hands. But then again, people will argue you paid him $1 kajillion. He
To
needs
take
to
the
take the game in
game
his
into his
hands.
hands.
Well,
No.
and it goes back to, I think Nagler was talking about this last week, and a lot of people are blogging about it right now, has McCarthy lost this team, right? And I think week 5 is way too early to say that.
Sure.
Has this team been Andy Reided?
Right.
Right?
Well, that's a big question that will
It's a
have to
question.
be found out over the course of the season. I don't think there's anything you can say in week 5.
I mean, I've been saying because last year, for a few years, but last year I think was his big like there was a lot of heat on McCarthy because he overhyped the ever-living crap out of Brett Hundley. That like, he sat behind, he was like, oh, he's going to get in there. And of course, as a coach, you have to say that. You're not going to be like, oh, we're screwed. That's
what's
it.
funny is like you look at what he said that week leading up to his first start.
Yeah.
And then you look at the game plan.
Yeah.
Like, what's the age-old thing? Don't listen to what he says, watch what he does.
Yeah.
I mean, he talked him up, you're right.
Correct.
But then he came out and like buttoned it up
Yep.
and ran 3 yards in a cloud of
and
dust
that's
in a
it.
way that hasn't happened since like 2008.
Yep.
In Green Bay. So that told you all you needed to know about how Mike McCarthy really felt about Brett Hundley. He knew he wasn't ready.
Correct.
All that stuff. But this, I get you on the Rodgers thing. I will say some of the Mike stuff I do kind of get. Now, there are plenty of instances where you can see on tape where guys are schemed open. You do see missed opportunities. But at the same time, you also see a lot of this. I want to roll this piece of video. Gaff, you can go roll levels here. This is a concept where they're trying to get these 2 tight ends, but they're both in the same spot. And Rodgers, look at him.
Nobody
here.
knows who's chosen.
Rodgers has, like, we're pretty sure Rodgers is throwing this to Kendricks. But, Graham's like, oh, maybe it's just tall. And, like, but this happened. This is an extreme
happened a couple
example, but
times
it
on
happened
Sunday.
a bunch of times throughout the game. And I get that some of that is you've got a bunch of young wide receivers due to injury because Geronimo Allison was down, Randall Cobb was down, so you had to play MVS, you had to play.
MVS had a good game.
He
too,
did. They both did. I thought
I
he
knew
played
he was
well
going
too.
to, and he did.
But then you've got, okay, so you can kind of understand it in that sense. But then you've also got plays where we've got Devontae Adams literally blowing up Ty Montgomery on a crosser. Like, that's where the lack of practice thing just starts to bug me because it's week 5.
Well, is it due to a lack of practice then for Rodgers? Like, if we're putting it all on, let's just say
but that's my point. Rodgers is not out there running routes. Like those guys got to run those routes regardless of who's the quarterback.
Yeah.
So, but I'm saying like the overthrows or the missed, the fact that they're getting space because he's been injured. Like last week was the first week he got taken off the actual injury report.
Yeah,
and like
at
had
the end
a
of the
full
week, but he still missed Wednesday. He
so
didn't practice.
That's what I mean. Is it a factor that he just hasn't been able to gel with these rookies? Because we're talking about so many young people on the field.
But that has nothing to do with like Devontae Adams and Ty Montgomery.
Sure,
you know what I mean?
that's 100%. So
that's where I look at Mike and I think, it's week 5 and we all make the joke now that they don't play in the preseason. The preseason is really September for the offense.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers even said almost that at his locker this summer, where he said we're gonna take some lumps early in the year. We're gonna find our identity as we go. That's great. You're a month and a week into the season now, and you've got guys running into each other.
Well, and also, like, Devontae, our jerseys are white, their jerseys are blue.
Oh, yeah, that was a rough one.
He's literally looking at a white jersey like, bro, don't block
don't
that
blow
guy.
him up.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, too. But like, I get, like, maybe
money.
maybe Ty's shallow or something. Yeah. But it's just, that's disconcerting in week 5.
Yes.
And that's where I'm thinking. That's where the Andy Reid comparable jumps to my mind because that's what happened in Philadelphia. Guys just started tuning the coach out. He had been there for so long, and you saw sloppy play, penalties, and kind of the same I don't want to say lackadaisical because I think effort is there, but just a lethargic offensive performance.
Well, Devontae at the same time, like he dropped some passes too, but like he was bobbling a lot, even on the ones he caught. Like
there was that one specific, that deep cross.
And he was just
Rodgers threw it amazing, and he's like bobbling it. I'm like, secure the
just catch the ball.
Yeah.
So I mean, I want to get your take on this. So we bring in Mike Pettin, right? Do you think that this defense, I know it's only week 5, do you think they're playing better than they have been in previous years?
100%.
I would say yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Overall, as a group, cohesively,
the ranking on the yardage shows that, and
Yeah.
it's a real thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And so that being said, do you think it's because of him? Do you think it's because of Pettin?
I think it's a combination of Pettin and the staff that he's assembled.
Okay.
And I think they did a good job of keeping the voices that, I don't want to say mattered, but the voices that were needed.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about Joe Witt.
Yeah, Joe
I
Witt.
think
Oh my God, watch him.
he's
on
a
the
future
sidelines.
head
He's
coach.
amazing.
He's a future head
He
coach.
is amazing.
And so-
he never stops.
And then maybe in that case, the same thing needs to happen with the offense. I mean, because again, when was the last time that we had like a super high-powered offense in which you were that machine, you were that like drought? And
Edgar
again,
Bennett was a coach.
But here's the thing. The last time they had an offense that just couldn't be stopped,
Yeah.
that went up and down the field,
Yeah.
was 2 years ago when they ran the table.
Yeah.
But the reason they did that is because Aaron Rodgers played out of his freaking mind.
It was insane.
I've never seen quarterbacking at that level in my life. And then people know it's Brett Favre's birthday. I love Brett Favre. He's probably my favorite Packer of all time after Bart Starr.
Brett Favre never played that.
I love Brett Favre, but holy cow, he never did what Rodgers did in that stretch.
He literally just said, like, okay, we're going to do this now. And he did
incredible.
it all.
But a big part of that, getting back to dinking and dunking, was dinking and dunking.
Yes.
It started that Monday night in Philadelphia. They were coming off that game. I think it was the Texans was the next week. But they were coming off this horrible stretch. They were 4-6, and then they got to the quick passing game. They got Aaron.
That was in
rhythm.
Philadelphia, I think. Yeah.
And they got in rhythm. You got him in rhythm quickly. And that's what I keep saying in the chats. I said it here on Transplants last week. Mike, and I went on this rant in 2014, Mike has to help him. What you're talking about, like, help your quarterback. You see he's not coming out of the gate firing. That just hasn't happened pretty much all year.
Yeah.
Help him. Get into the rhythm. Get him some quick throws.
So
That's what I say. Like, what if he is helping him and then he
Aaron is
audibles out?
changing it.
And,
Well,
you know,
it's possible.
for instance, like,
It's possible.
dude, you're on a gimpy knee. Do you really need to, like, RPO into a run
Right.
to get 3 yards? Like, that
Yeah.
might be the right look, but be a realist for a hot second. I
Yeah.
do want to say happy birthday to the third best quarterback in the Green Bay Packers. Brett Favre, without saying, he is the third greatest quarterback of all time for the Green Bay Packers.
That's a Hallmark card right there.
Yeah.
That's something beautiful.
It's good. It's great being number 3, buddy.
Well, I mean, but that's the thing. McCarthy also takes so much flack for the run pass, right? Like that's
Oh,
a
yeah.
typical, like that's
Yeah.
all he does. He run and that's it. But now I would argue you have a guy who could do the run part.
If
and
you
it's
just
not
used him.
You just have to utilize him.
Well, hey, we're at that part of the script.
He did
well
that
done.
on purpose.
Yeah, that's well done.
He's trying to. Get
He's
my
actually
job.
reading the script.
He's like, oh, this guy sucks at that, so I'm gonna try to do this right.
But this Aaron Jones stuff is just hilarious to me. I mean, so Mike's asked about it. I mean, and can I just give a shout out real quick? God bless Jason Wilde and Ryan Wood, because they didn't shy away from it. They know this is what everyone is wondering. Everyone wants this question answered. So they asked Mike, point blank on Monday, what's up? Why isn't this kid getting carries? And Jason's first initial question was met with, well, if you have to ask, I don't know if I can explain it to you, which is, come on, what a douche. But then Ryan Wood followed it up,
That is
and
fun.
Mike straight up looked at him and like was pissed and said, I don't appreciate your question. Like, well, that's great. You still got to answer it.
I can't
which he
believe you've done
never
this.
did. Like, it's...
of course, he's not gonna answer that.
But it drives me nuts. He says this whole thing about, well, there's more to the position than carrying the football. Yeah, and there's more to, like, football than shooting yourselves in the foot repeatedly because you, like, are not featuring your talent.
Sunday, I can understand why you don't utilize Aaron Jones. Because
I
again, because
I don't.
But that's the thing. Even in the third quarter, like when they were running a little bit, and even if it was successful, I was like, all right, guys, like we need to score. And again, if you're
And you know how you score? By getting your most talented players on the field.
Well, they did get him that one. They got. I was excited
drives
when
me
they
insane.
passed to Aaron Jones and he had a nice. He had a nice.
God, they utilized him in the passing game? Oh, be still my heart.
It does seem a little bit like
This is what I
obvious
mean. It's
when
like,
you.
they make it sound like there is no way he can solve the problem of pass protection. But you look at him, he's fine in pass protection.
Yeah.
Is he as good as Jamal Williams in pass protection?
no, but he's not that far.
But he's
off.
not that far removed. It's
Yeah.
not like you're putting out like the Sisters of the Poor out there and asking them to block for Rodgers. I'm so sick of this nonsense. Like,
I bet the Sisters of the Poor would do a
excuse-making.
good job of
Listen,
blocking.
they would like
They
ring
would.
their bells, and people were like, "Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm
Like,
sorry.
I'm sorry to bother you."
I mean, tackle
in
and none.
today's
It's
NFL, I mean, that's kind of where they're going with the quarterbacks.
That is really where they're
please,
going.
Please,
Yeah.
can we form an orderly line?
They put like money in the bucket.
I
We're
think
gonna
the
bring you down
problem
now.
with fans and Aaron Jones is that it just seems so obvious.
yeah.
Oh, obvious.
And it's almost like they all. I feel like as a fan, I feel like McCarthy is just trying to insult my own intelligence.
Exactly.
Right? It's like
That's why it's so mad.
everyone can look and be like 6.3, 3.4,
Oh, and
3.2.
then today, I love this. Pro Football Focus does the ratings for the pass protection, and Aaron Jones is at the top.
Wow.
I mean, it's so frustrating. And it's
Well,
I
and
get, I
we're
get
in the
PFF
top.
is not the be all end all, but it tells you that he's actually competent.
We're in the top. We're in the top 10 on pass protection overall. I think for running. I saw this PFF thing on Twitter today. That was my only research I did for this show.
Ian,
Last
I'm
week
done.
you printed out stats. This week you're slacking because we have a guest.
we had Tom, and I was like, he'll take over.
It's fine. Listen, I will carry the weight.
But it's so frustrating. Just feature your talent. That's what drives me insane.
See, because here's the thing. I think I've backed myself into a corner here because, like, the 49ers game on Monday,
Right.
like, we should kill them. Like,
I've been saying it should be a get-right game.
we should.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Like, I'm not going to feel good if we kill them. You know what I
Right,
mean?
because
Like,
they're the
it's like,
49ers
but
and we should kill them.
Like, we're going on
That's
to a bye.
and that's the problem. That's where the Packers
Yeah.
franchise is right now.
Yeah, and,
Oh, yeah.
and that's a problem. The fact that, like, even if we blow them out like 56-0,
Right.
I'm gonna be like, oh, they don't have Jimmy G. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what they
we were
should
supposed
do.
to do
You
that,
should be
right.
doing that. You should be beating the Lions. You should be beating the Redskins. Like, you should be doing, like, look at the Redskins getting their asses handed to them on Monday.
But you also have to look at the NFL right now. This is the first
It's a week-to-week
time.
league, too.
Absolutely.
No, but this
100%.
is the first time in how many years that there hasn't been an undefeated team.
Oh, yeah. Everyone's got one L now.
Yeah. So week 5 and everybody's got a loss. That's
It tells you.
there's some parity in the
yeah,
league.
The parity is.
The Rams lost?
Haven't they? Or no, they didn't.
No, the Rams
Oh,
didn't
you're right.
lose, and
He's
then
right.
the Chiefs
The only
didn't lose.
undefeated
No, I
team.
think it's the
One
Rams and
undefeated.
Chiefs.
No, 2 undefeated teams.
Yeah.
Corey, what are you doing? You need to do research.
I saw it on Twitter.
Sorry, guys. I'll
There
leave
it
now.
is.
You're like, how dare you correct me on my own damn show?
No.
That's like
That's
the
all we
point
do.
of
Yeah,
the show.
so, but that's the thing, though. But you look at the Rams, for example, who's supposed to have this amazing defense, and they looked like
They-
crap on
Here's
Thursday
the thing.
against the
Their
Vikings.
offense
They're-
can make up for everything.
Correct. It looks a little bit like the Packers. They don't have
Because-
Todd Gurley,
Because
but
they execute.
crazy.
Execute.
And then you look at the Chiefs, which is the same thing, in which, like, they put on a good defensive performance this past week, but, like, they have that offense which can score. Like, that should be the Packers. And the fact that it's not that, because for
Driving us
years and
nuts.
years and years and years, we've been saying, this is our year for the Super Bowl. This is our year for the Super Bowl. Like, what possibly could we add? We draft every cornerback there possibly is. We draft any wide receiver there
Well,
possibly
I can tell you
is.
immediately, everyone will say a pass rusher.
Sure, 100%. But then we're going to draft a pass rusher next year in the first round. And when we're here again, week 5, and it's the similar story, people, I think, are just looking. This is why I think everyone's focusing on Aaron Jones, because they're just grasping at something to try to understand why isn't this team
Why
doing
isn't it
well?
clicking? Well, here,
why isn't it going?
I'm going to put a quick plug.
You know
in.
we have to draft next year, right?
What's that?
A quarterback.
Okay. That's a whole other conversation.
If you look at the history
you
of
are
the Green Bay
really
Packers,
trying to derail the
If
script
you
now.
look at the
and I
history of the
refuse
Green
to
Bay Packers
rise to the bait,
and how
sir.
old Aaron
You are
Rodgers
out of
is,
order.
and how old
You are
Brett
out
Favre
of
was.
order.
Quarterback. If we don't draft a quarterback in the first round, somebody's not doing their job.
All right. So here's we're going to ignore that comment. So here's my quick plug for Monday night for the game for our watch party this week, because
Oh, snap.
speaking of Aaron Jones and getting on the field, and like Ryan Grant was asked on Twitter, what did it take for you to get in front of Deshaun Wynn? And he said, Wynn got hurt and Mike had to use me. And that is it. That's the only way Aaron Jones is going to get the majority of carries, is if injury takes care of it. That's always the way it's been. And I only mention this about Ryan because Ryan is going to be here in this studio watching the game with me on Monday Night Football. So be here for our watch party.
It's going to be amazing. I'm going to watch it from Lambeau.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to be in my basement.
Okay, and real quickly, we'll wrap up the offense with, we talked about it a little bit before about Jimmy Graham. And there was this kind of
He's wasting money.
strain. This strain kind of went through the internet on Monday and Tuesday of the Packers made a mistake
Oh, dear.
signing Jimmy Graham.
I didn't like the signing when it first came out.
Yeah.
I was not a fan of it.
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan of it at
So
all.
are you already week 5 all in on it was a mistake to sign Jimmy Graham?
I thought it was a mistake from the beginning, but the fact that we signed him, you might as well use him. Like that's my logic to him. Like, it could have been the worst signing in the world, but if you have this kind of guy, did you guys know he played basketball? If you have him on the field, then freaking utilize him. The entire talk this entire offseason was what a red zone threat he's going to be,
Yeah,
or the
thank
fact that he
you.
could spread the field and he can get double covered in the whole 9 yards. And I was like, okay,
Okay,
like,
and some of the
talking
double
myself
coverage
into
stuff
it.
has happened. That
Sure.
happened. That happened in the Bears
Absolutely.
game. That happened in the Vikings game.
Yep.
So it has happened.
Yes.
But the production has not.
No, it has not.
I think that's on McCarthy and Rodgers. I really do.
Well,
You
the
have
thing
to
about the red
feature
zone-
him.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
The red zone thing is like, it kills me because everyone was talking about that. And I got carried away with it because, like, you saw it in practice.
Yep.
Because they're working on installs. So they're like,
Yep.
someday we might actually want to do this. So they practice it, but then they never utilize it in a game.
Now, do
Drives me insane.
you think it's like PTSD from having Jermichael Finley and like trying to like build a team around him? And Mike's like, I can't ever do that with a tight end
I
again.
know, but okay, fine. But then look at Jared Cook. When
Yeah.
Jared Cook came and they ran the table with Jared Cook, I mean, he was
Cook
pretty damn effective.
Cook was good. I was happy with Cook.
That's
I
that's
don't know why they got rid of him.
I'm not good. Yeah, well, that's
Well,
a
you're
Ted Thompson
talking
mistake.
about the 2015 to 2017
Right.
period in the Green Bay
Sure.
Packers where Ted Thompson decided that he wasn't the general
He checked
manager.
out and
He
Russ Ball
basically
took
checked
over.
out and went to somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Russ
in
Ball
his
said,
mind.
we don't need all this, and
Yeah.
the team got in real trouble. But my point with the Jimmy Graham thing is like it's week 5. Like
Yes.
I get it. His early returns are a little disappointing.
I have a theory.
Oh,
They don't want to put Graham on tape in week 5. I know you like that.
holy cow! This reminds
Next
me,
week on the X Files.
This reminds me of the first transplants we ever did. Literally, the very first one we ever did.
It was a podcast.
Yes, it was before
didn't
there was
do
no
video.
video. It was like 20
We did
minutes
it like
long.
8 times.
And
too.
you said somewhere in the middle.
I
of
got
the
to redo.
recording-
It was fun because I got to redo.
You
I'd be
said-
like, I just said something stupid,
You
which I
said
pretty much
like,
can
you
guarantee
got
I'm
like
going to
this
do that one.
passionate, like diatribe about the defense, and you like were blaming it all on this one corner who had left like the year before. Like, that
He's
was,
still
like,
there.
One of my all-time favorite moments. in
But it never
Transplants.
made
was
the
first
show.
night. No, that was never recorded.
That's when we could edit.
We could re-edit. Yeah,
It's like when you say like Dom Capers' ghost is still hanging around, like the defensive locker
Right.
room, and you're just like, oh, there's that secondary again.
Yeah, sometimes. Well, okay. Speaking of Dom Capers and now Mike Pettin,
Hey,
the
look,
defense.
transitioned
Great
us into the
transition.
defense.
Go to the defense here. You mentioned it earlier when we were talking about the Detroit game. I thought they responded well when put in some really bad spots.
I concur.
Especially Rodgers' first fumble, holding them to a field goal. I think that was monster.
Yeah.
And that is the type of thing, talking about the ghost of Dom Capers, that hadn't happened the last few years.
No, 100% not. And because that's the thing. We've said that for a while, like we're the bend, don't break defense. We were breaking all the time.
All the time.
All the time we were breaking everywhere. Like you went up against a good wide receiver. Like, for example, Galladay, right? Had a pretty good game, like 98 yards, a touchdown. You have that with like
And one stiff
last
arm
year's.
of Hogg.
Yeah, oh God, into oblivion.
Again, second year in a row.
Yep. So you have that like last year or the year before that, Galladay puts up even bigger numbers than that because you look at like a Julio Jones or like what Marvin Jones, like they have these big receivers that always burn us for like Stephon Diggs last year,
Yep.
destroying us. You didn't see a whole lot of that on Sunday. If we can hold one of their best wide receivers to 98 yards
And look,
and a touchdown,
and on that play
I
where he
feel like
scores a
that's pretty
touchdown,
good.
which is like, you're talking about 98 yards,
Yeah.
60, 70 of that came out in one
Correct.
play.
Yeah.
And Josh Jackson's in good position there.
Yes.
He just mistimes the jump.
Yeah.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like they're there.
I think for what they were able to accomplish and hold them to and put in like the worst spots imaginable,
Right.
I think they did a good job.
Oh yeah, the defense.
They held them to 7 points in the
defense
second
has
half.
been night and day to what it's been the last 6 years.
Now the thing that I'm constantly getting is that they're not putting together a complete game, and
Right.
that like the,
We
fir-
talked
the
about it
first
last week.
first half, second half.
What do you
is-
call the Bills
is
game?
is completely So
you don't
it's
call
go-
a shutout a complete game?
is a complete like so for example like you have the first half and we've seen this in the Bears game, we had this in obviously the Lions game, you had this in the Redskins game in which we're letting up 20 plus points in the first half.
And then we make adjustments.
Yeah, and then we're just like, hey guys, we get that super special stuff from Space Jam.
Yeah, exactly.
We scored it, and then they turn around. So is it really just they scheme better in the second half, or is it the fact that Sunday I think is you can't really look at that. That's an outlier because we just put them in terrible positions. But so then how do you talk about the Bears game, the Redskins
Well, I think
game?
the Bears game in particular is an outlier simply because it's the first game of the year.
Okay.
And I mean, it's really clear Nagy. Like,
It's the last preseason game.
He emptied for the
Yeah.
Packers. He emptied the kitchen sink on that opening drive.
Yeah.
And then like proceeded to like kind of use every motion and thing he had. And then in the second half, Pettin was like, okay, now I've seen it all. And he adjusted.
And now we're good.
And I think the talking about the complete game thing, yes, the Buffalo game absolutely counts as a complete game.
Fun.
But it is also against Josh Allen, who like was starting the second
here
time
we
ever in
go.
his life,
Here we
you know,
go.
whatever. But Josh came back and had a good game against the Titans in Buffalo.
Shutting out any
I
NFL
agree.
team.
I said as much on the post-game chat.
There's no but to it.
I agree.
I was actually at that last shutout game, 9-0 against the
So were we.
Jets.
So are we. Yeah. We were in the front
Right
row.
over there.
Chilling.
Right across the river.
Chilling like villains. But then when's the last
Corey almost got us beat up that game. It was a good time.
What?
Oh, don't.
Come on, Nagler.
You know how like in the okay, wait, Tom. So you know how in at MetLife when the Jets are playing, they do the stupid JES Jets.
and the
Suck,
Miami
suck.
and the
No, no.
Miami fireman guy.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
He's back now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
hate that
so
guy.
they do that chant, right?
Yeah.
It echoes around the stadium. And
Yep.
it's whatever. fine. I'm sitting there in my Packers finery, and I'm
Yes.
thinking, fine, whatever. But this one, Jets, 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 Jets. It's just, the echo is just dying out. And then this one, not just says it, stands up and screams, suck! So we're like surrounded by Jersey's finest, like
Yeah.
ready to like just kill us all.
Which
Like,
there's no such thing of Jersey's finest because it's
Yeah,
Jersey,
right.
but it's
but
fine. It's fine.
That was in this one dude came and like came down, was like ready to kick our
Yeah.
ass, and like it was bad. It was
You know
a bad
what the
look.
key to
It
that
was a
is,
bad
though?
look.
You know what the key to that is?
What's
This is where I'm like the stadium pro.
Right.
You got to be in the front row
Right.
because you're right at the camp. They're not
True.
gonna. There's a security.
They're not
guard.
gonna
kill
They're
you
not
on
gonna do
camera.
anything. They might wait
Now-
for you in hiding. And
Well, that was walking to the car. I felt like we
Yes,
were gonna die.
we're gonna
I
die.
was for sure we were
Now,
gonna get
here's an important
set
note that
apart.
we're not touching on that game. Mason Crosby won us that game.
Yep.
9-0.
3 field goals.
That's it.
that was a
Pretty
long
important
time
kicker.
ago.
Yeah, it was.
It was.
He's paid a lot more money now.
That was a
This
long.
is true.
That was a Super
To
Bowl
miss
ago.
a lot
This is
of-
what, 11th
That was a
year?
Super Bowl ago.
Is it 11th year?
Something like that.
I think it's something like that.
I don't know. I do know he's making over $10 million to
That's silvered hair
miss
fox.
4 field goals.
Oof. It just hurts
pretty
my
tough.
feelings.
But getting back to the defense.
There's a reason why we don't have special teams on
Yeah,
this script.
exactly. And hey. A lot of you talk doom and gloom, frustrations. I get all that. But can we just praise for a moment the best player on the Packers defense that nobody is talking about? There hasn't been anything written about him.
It's true.
I haven't seen anything online. I tweeted about it this afternoon because I was like, this kid is getting no love.
Kentrell Bryce, I know.
I was gonna say Blake Martinez.
Kenny Clark. This guy is a freaking beast. Go back and watch the tape. He whoops Ragno every which way but Sunday. Like
Yeah.
that guy, Kenny Clark.
He's a
If that
stud.
is Ted Thompson's parting gift, I'm fine.
And he's like one of the youngest guys on the
Yeah.
team.
He was like
it's-
he was like
it's great.
20 years
Yeah.
old when he got drafted or something like that.
I've done a lot with my life.
Precisely. But I just wanted to give Kenny a shout out because no one ever
He's
talks
playing
about
great.
the defensive tackle, especially after a game where you lost and
Yeah, you're
blah,
usually
blah, blah.
talking about him because he got blown up.
It's or
Yeah.
something. But he played so well.
He
and I
did.
just wanted to give him a shout out.
He
Somebody
appreciates
who,
that.
Somebody who a lot of people are talking about today is Ha Clinton-Dix. Now you can debate whether what the spirit of his saying to Jason Wilde, I feel like I won't be back next year. Some of that probably is twisted and taken out of context a little bit, but it sure seems like it's on his mind. The idea that, yeah, they gave him the 5th-year option. He's playing it out. But it seems pretty obvious that his representatives have not been approached.
Yeah.
We all remember the MD Jennings era. Are we really, how are you guys feeling about, okay, Ha Clinton-Dix plays out the season and they let him walk? It's a tough one.
Because that's
right?
the thing. That position, we're so weak at it right now, even with Ha
With him there.
Clinton-Dix
Yeah.
playing,
Yep.
is that if you let him walk, not only, like we were talking about pass rusher and how we've needed one for the past 25 years, and we need him. So if we're looking at a pass rusher at the draft, then we're also hoping to hit and replace Ha Clinton-Dix. I mean, that's
It adds up.
that's rough.
Yep.
Do I think he's been a little disappointing? Sure. Will I still never forgive him for the 2014 NFC Championship game? Sure. But that being said, he's playing well this year.
People would disagree with you on that one.
I feel.
I think he's been solid. I think he's been up and down, but
he's
solid.
never lived up to the
No.
to the
I agree.
potential
He never
that
did.
he hasn't yet.
I agree.
I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for how excited I got on draft day when we drafted him.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm waiting for that to equal how excited I am to see him play.
His stat. I read it something like the other day that his stats are actually not. He's like leading the league.
He's
in
tied for
something,
the
or-
league lead in interceptions.
There you
with
go.
3.
Which is great.
2 of them bounced right to him, but you got to be in that position
Hey,
to make
listen,
that play.
And
That's
the one
fine.
play where he
We've
knocks the
seen
dude out. It's
that was
amazing.
an insane
It's an
play.
amazing
But,
interception.
look, the whole the ball was thrown right to him, or the ball bounced off a receiver's hands
You
right
gotta
to
be
him.
in position to
You
do
got to be
that.
in position, and we've seen countless times throughout the history of the Green Bay Packers at the safety position where guys have had things bounce right to them and they don't make the play.
That is correct.
So I'm fine. I personally would think they would try to approach him later in the year if he continues
Sure.
to play solidly, which is what I think he's doing right now.
Yeah.
Yes, he has issues. Everybody can pinpoint things in his game, whether it's the lack of physicality.
Yeah.
Sometimes he'll miss fills in the run game, etc. I get all that. But for the most part, he's pretty solid. And you look at the safety kind of market this offseason.
Yeah.
I mean, Eric Reed signed late for obvious
I
some
mean,
obvious
should have
reasons.
signed Eric Reed.
I agree.
I agree.
But like, the safety position took a real nosedive as far as contracts go. So they can probably get him for a reasonable rate.
But that was the thing too, like with Morgan Burnett. Like, and I did not want him to go. While he's like, he's
Yeah, but you kind of figure. I mean, third contracts, they just don't give those out.
No,
if they don't sign T.J. Lang to a third contract, they're not going to sign.
No,
him.
I agree, but again, it was the issue of he's a veteran presence. He was obviously injured, and that was an issue. And I feel like he was declining in his play. He's not really doing great in Pittsburgh. But all that being said, is like he was at least a solid player who was there and he could do his job.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is in very short supply right now.
But that's like a Micah Hyde. That's like a Casey Hayward.
Yeah.
That's like
boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're going to, I mean, to both of your point, if you're going to draft and develop, Ha should stay.
Yeah, because he's one of your core guys, or at least he should be thought of as such until something better comes along that you've developed.
Is he my favorite safety of all time? No, that's Leroy Butler, and he's he should go in the Hall of Fame, and he's amazing, and I wish he could still play.
We need to do like a Leroy Butler stumping for Leroy Butler, the Hall of Fame.
I'm ready.
Video.
I'm ready.
/show. We need.
I got my picket signs ready already.
I'm ready.
We gotta do it.
I'll protest in front of the NFL.
All right, let's talk about this 49ers game on Monday night because, Tom, like you said, it's the kind of game. I said it in the chat. It should be a get-right game.
Yes.
This is the kind of game where the Packers should look better. They're at home. They've got an extra day of rest.
Mm-hmm. No Jimmy G.
No Jimmy G for the 49ers. But I will say, I want to see the Packers come out and execute from the opening kickoff. I want a opening drive
That just
bing, bang, boom, we're in the end zone.
Touchdown.
Like last year, last 2 years, they were clinical on opening drives, and now all of a sudden that's just disappeared.
correct.
So that's the first number one thing I'm looking for.
I want to see touchdown, 2-point conversion, onside kick.
In that order. And we actually
I love
return the onside kick for another
Or another touchdown.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done with that.
And then I want to double up.
Oh wait, how are you going to do that if you're receiving?
No. At the halftime, then I want to double up.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Right?
All right. The other thing they got to do is they got to capitalize on turnover opportunities because the 49ers are going to give them to them.
Yes.
Like
Oh,
this kid Beathard, their quarterback, he'll throw it to you.
Yes.
He'll throw it to you a bunch.
He's the sacrificial lamb.
I
in this
mean,
game.
they've moved the football. Their offense.
Sure. And
can move
Kittle's good.
it. That kid, let me tell you.
Oh.
George Kittle. It's all right. It's true because that was my next point because Kittle is the one guy I look at on that offense who scares the holy hell out of me.
He might have a big game.
Because I don't know. Because someone said, I mentioned it to Sam Monson of PFF because he had put up a video of Kittle just destroying someone in the run game. And somebody asked me, he's like, who's going to guard him? I was like,
Oh, yeah,
that's the problem.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, the one thing that we have to go for that is he doesn't really have anyone to throw to him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not as scared as I would have been with Jimmy G.
What's wrong with Blake Martinez?
Blake
Blake Martinez in coverage this year has been okay.
He's okay. He's okay.
Better than any other linebacker in coverage.
I don't know. I would like to see Oren Burks give it a go.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Wouldn't.
But Kittle scares me. He's the one guy who legitimately scares me on that offense. So we'll see. We'll see.
But if that's the case, then hopefully if there's literally one guy.
We bracket him and just forget it.
I mean, because I was actually talking about this with the 49ers fan this past week. And like, who do they have on their team to throw the ball to? It's
Right.
Pierre Garçon. I mean,
80-year-old.
Yeah, like 115.
On a 100-year-old
Yeah.
Tremont Williams.
Correct.
The matchup of the decade.
You know,
Or so mad.
I really don't
it's the
appreciate
battle for the nursing home.
Okay, everybody,
Only on pay-per-view.
Everybody want to hate on Tremont.
I'm not
And you
hating
know
on
what's gonna
Tremont.
happen
He's
is-
just
Gonna get
old.
the applesauce.
He's older.
He's old.
The
He's
older
gonna have some turnovers.
I
when you
agree.
least expect it.
It's not. I always expect it with Tremont because he's
And you know what?
smartest
I hope
guy
I'm
on the
watching
field.
Watch Party with you when
I
that
hope
happens.
so.
Because I am going to take Packer Man and I'm going to put it in places you've never even experienced, Nagler.
Oh, Tom, I feel assaulted.
Things are happening.
This
and
isn't
I'm not sure
NPR, okay?
This is.
I think
ain't
it's
your
time.
mama.
We need to channel some
Gaff,
of that.
it's time. Just
Gaff,
play it.
It's time. Play it, buddy. It's time.
This week in the Packer Blogosphere.
I don't know why
That's
that is.
smartly. That is
Oh, they
wise.
want you dancing
That is a
that time.
wise
That's
decision
us,
on
though.
Gaff's part not to show us dancing. All right, so I just, obviously every week we talk about things going on in the Packers Blogosphere, and we have an actual member of the Packers Blogosphere here other than ourselves. So I just wanted to start this segment by saying, make sure you check out Tom's YouTube stuff because it's
right.
phenomenal. It's fantastic. I wanted to ask real quick if anyone's watching and going,
Who is this guy?
Yeah, I get that a lot.
How did you start? How did this come about? Because we found you because we searched Green Bay Packers on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because we're total geeks. But how did you start out?
So 2014, we had the NFC Championship game loss against the Seahawks, and
Thanks for bringing it up.
Yep, that's fine. Yeah, well, this is empty now. But besides drowning myself in a tub of liquor, I decided to make a reaction video of kind of being like, we're gonna win. We didn't, and then just doing that for a minute and a half, and that did well. And so a bunch of Packers fans were like, "Oh my god, thank you so much! This was so cathartic to me." And I was like, "Heh." And so I listen. Everybody has a podcast. Everybody has one. And so I wanted to do something. If I was going to, and I had no idea what I was doing, I still don't. But if I was going to do something, I wanted to do something different. And so I bring every single week, I bring fans from the opposing team on. We hash it out. We sometimes it's a little violent, but we talk, and I just do that every week, and that's kind of how it got started. And now we're on YouTube, and now I'm sitting here.
Yeah. I like the Khalil Mack reaction video. That's my favorite.
That was outstanding.
That's hilarious.
That was outstanding.
So funny.
If you get a chance, YouTube, search it. This guy, Khalil Mack, it is pretty phenomenal. Something that's not so phenomenal, however, is a tweet that Corey saw this week from Mr. Peter Bukowski, who I will just say, point blank, I have met Pete. He's a great guy. This tweet, he really set Mr. Banky off.
I didn't even know you were going to talk about this. So I have to.
Because you don't look at the script. You never look at the
script.
Why would you look at the script? That would be foolhardy.
We have a script.
But essentially, what Pete was saying.
Here it is.
Oh, you got it.
All right. So,
Boy.
This is not good. Here's a question I'm dying to know the answer to, Packers fans.
Is this your Peter Bukowski voice?
This is my Peter Bukowski voice. Okay. Here's a question I'm dying to know the answer to, Packers fans. Do you even want a repeat of Run the Table if it means coming up short on the Super Bowl again and by extension saves Coach Mack?
Ooh, what do you think about that, Corey Banky?
I don't like it. That's literally the dumbest shit I've ever seen on the internet in this week, okay?
Just to qualify, this week. Just this week.
You know what? You know what I'm sick of?
What's that?
I'm sick of people who why are we a fan, right?
Right.
You're a fan because you want your team to win. You're not a fan because you're like, I want the coach to be fired, so we gotta lose. That is the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. All you are is a troll and a clickbaiting troll. That's all you are, okay? Now, yours truly is a clickbaiting troll. I have been known myself.
Right.
I'm not as bad as the Nagler, but...
Oh, just stop. Just stop.
I've been known to be a clickbaiting troll, but at least I call myself what I am, okay?
Right.
This is ridiculous, and people fall for this crap, and they follow people that fall for this crap, and I hate it.
You have any thoughts on the subject, Tom?
I think I lost brain cells. When I just I'm rewinding to Billy Madison. It's just that was the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And may God have mercy on your soul. That makes no sense. If you go to the Cleveland Browns, go to the Buffalo Bills, go to any other team that hasn't seen playoffs and be like, hey guys, would you even want to go to the Super Bowl again? What? No, actually, I would like to just plummet our season into the ground. Mike McCarthy gets fired. We don't find a replacement, and we waste the rest of Aaron Rodgers' career. That's what I would really like.
See, but there are plenty of people who would argue that Mike's doing that himself. I disagree, but I'm sure I know that those people are.
Well, but here's the thing, though. You're talking to some. I've been at 4. Luckily, I've been blessed and privileged, and I thank whoever is the creator that I got to go to 4 NFC Championship games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We only won 1. Okay?
It's true.
But I would.
You were there for all 4?
But I was there. I was there when Brett Favre and what's his name didn't fall on the ball. I was there. Jarrett Bush. Jeez, why did you even say his name? I just wanted to say what's his name. I was there in the front row when Seattle totally crapped the bed and we got Tom Grossi out of it. We birthed Tom Grossi. I was there. I was there in Chicago with Wally Pingle when Raji had the amazing interception and bumbled and stumbled into the end zone.
The only time I ever had to leave a press box.
I was there, and I wouldn't give those memories away.
Right.
Even the terrible memories, even watching myself on NFL playoff and seeing this NFL films, and you see half of my face, and I'm just totally destitute, and I'm the Packer fan who's like the loser. The only time I've been the Packer fan face who's like the winner is when Jared Cook had that amazing catch
in Dallas. Right.
Then ESPN is like, oh, okay, that's cool. But other than that, it's usually like, hey, look, loser Packer fan, he's so mad.
Because you're always in the front row with makeup on and a wig, dude. Like, just be normal, and they won't find you.
And I wouldn't give that away for anything.
I feel you. We always used to talk about you doing the show in that costume. You need to do that. We can make that happen this year. Like you, full face paint, wig, and we go.
I would have to like you more to do that.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Fair point.
You put it this way. If the result of a bad season is McCarthy getting fired, it is what it is. But if you are a fan, you don't root for that. I don't think you ever.
I will draw. Okay, I will. I'd phrase it just slightly different. I would say, I don't get it, but that people are fans the way they're fans. You know,
yeah,
it's like I'm not going to tell someone how.
But
to
I'm
going to
shit on them.
Well, we're aware.
Crap all over them.
You've done a good job of hiding it.
So like that's like the suck for luck thing, right? Like
yes,
so like suck to get a better draft pick
yeah.
kind of thing. Like
I could never do that. I could never.
I just feel like that takes the fun out of every Sunday. Like every time, even when we're down 24 points, I'm just like, Packers can come back.
Of course.
Right? Because why not? Because what are you going to do? And just be like, well, this sucks. And then that's it.
Then you're just miserable.
And then you're just a miserable
I feel the
person.
same way about fantasy. It's why I don't play fantasy football. Because fantasy, and I don't crap on people who play. A lot of people I know play. Well, right. Nagler, but only Nagler. Yeah. But, you know, it's fine. You can play fantasy. But the problem with fantasy is it shifts my loyalties. And I don't want to shift my loyalties. That's why I don't watch the Brewers. Okay, I'm a purist.
I mean,
okay,
you brought them up this time.
That's fine. People brought them up in the chat, but like, I don't watch the Brewers because I'm a purist. Now, the problem is on Twitter, everybody's like, "Oh, they turned it into true fan, real fan." No, I don't do that. Okay, no. I can shit on you because you say stuff, but I'm not saying you're not a real fan because you say that. That's rude.
I think Nick has it right in the YouTube chat here. Even if we lose a playoff game, it's an extra game we get to watch the Packers play.
Aww,
I see. I'm
so wholesome.
But I'm serious. I totally think that. I think
100%.
that every time, like it's playoff week, and all of a sudden there are like 25 teams. Their fan bases they're done.
Yep.
Bye bye.
Yep.
And guess what? I'm still like checking stuff online.
Yeah.
I'm still buying merch. I'm still, I'm in it. I'm in the thick of it. And we've had that for how many years?
A long time.
Yeah, a long time.
20 years, thanks to Ron Wolf and Bob Harlan. So God, just enjoy it. That's I
agree.
Thing. And finally, the one final thing I wanted, this is going to be really quick and then we'll wrap it up. The one thing I wanted to say is I never say this. In the history of this show, I have never said go to this website. But I'm saying go to this website today. Go to Packers.com. I am not a company man. I am not a shill. But they have this kid, Cole Tolbert. He was involved with Make-A-Wish. He's a cancer survivor. He got to meet Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams at a practice, like on the field. The video is outstanding. Go find it. I can't recommend it enough. I was cutting onions here in the office earlier.
Before and I was watching it. I was like,
it's ridiculous. So, I mean, hell, Tom, I can't thank you enough for being here, man.
No, thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
It's amazing. We got to do this again sometime.
Absolutely. Like I am gonna live under someone's desk here. It's like you're just gonna call me up and I'm gonna be like, oh, guys, I made it here. There's no traffic.
So, any final words there, Benke?
I've said what
you said what you need to say. Well, that's good. That'll do it for this week's episode of Packer Transplants. We'd like to thank everyone who connects with us across the internet, be it here at Cheesehead TV or any of our social channels. You guys really help make this a unique fan experience. That's why Corey and I are here, along with Tom. We can't thank him enough for being here. We are and will always be dedicated to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide.
Take the high road when something like this happens. Is there any positive in terms of motivation for your guys, how ticked off they are about how this played out? Any of that can be used in any positive way whatsoever?
I'm not in the mood for drama tonight, Jason. Okay? I appreciate that.
What do you think you told the critics tonight?